Steve just broke the game. Friend of the channel, Yanni, discovered the fact that if Steve's up B gets interrupted, suddenly he has the ability to jump twice. No, I'm not talking about your ground jump and your double jump, I mean two double jumps a la Bayonetta doing her triple jump. It happened randomly in a game and then people labbed it out, including myself, so here I'm going to be talking about Steve's new broken double jump tech. So first off, let's go over specifics. If you get hit out of Steve's aerial up B from frame 1 to 7, you now have two double jumps that you can just use at any time. You don't have to use them in succession. You can jump once, do minecart, use your down B in the air, and then suddenly use your double jump a second time. It's kind of ridiculous. The same thing goes for getting hit out of your ground up B frame 6 through 12. I find this a lot less useful overall as we get into the applications in a little bit, but it's still useful just to know, and I think it can be really silly, especially when it comes to doubles. But for the rest of the video, I will be talking about applications for the aerial up B version. I don't know why this is a thing, I don't know how it makes sense in the programming, so I can't explain why this happens, but it does happen. But with that said, let us get into some applications. I'm going to go from least applicable to most applicable, and honestly, the least applicable version is doing combos out of it. Because Steve is able to activate the TNT with either down tilt or down smash, he has multiple ways to activate this. While you can do some sick stuff, as I'm going to show on screen, like this down tilt into jump up air, jump PBR, which is a different Steve tech back air on this Byleth, or as well as this down smash into long offstage combo against DK, you can get some very silly combos after the fact that you have two double jumps, because now, of course, Steve's combos very long, very free-flowing in general, but if you have two jumps and you don't even need a block on the upper or outer side of the stage, you're gonna get some ridiculous stuff. I'm sure there's a lot more. I saw Yanni like a couple of tweets, so you should go maybe follow him and check his likes on Twitter to see that, because it is honestly so crazy. I was happy to come up with a couple, but there are going to be so many combos out of this, and it's going to be very, very fun for the random labbers. Because Steve is able to activate the TNT with either down tilt or down smash, he has multiple ways to activate this, even outside of combo situations if you just want to freak your opponent out, or maybe even just like get them shield damage on the TNT and down smash, and then suddenly you're landing on them and you have a second jump and you can fake them out. One of the things about Steve that is really important when you're playing against him is the fact that you have to keep track of his resources, whether it's his iron, his ability to use minecart, his ability to use TNT, his ability to use down air, and then of course just his landing options in general, because when you hit Steve you really want to make him use a bunch of his resources, whether it's the aforementioned everything like the iron, the TNT, or just his blocks, because the less resources he has in his stack, the less he can do later, and of course you can then like pressure him aggressively, because when Steve doesn't have materials he's forced to mine, and when he has to mine then he's giving up stage control, and it's just really important in the Steve matchup in general. So if you are able to fake your opponent out and get an extra jump and then hit your opponent because they were keeping track of your resources, because normally characters only have one double jump, or they have, I guess, a set amount of double jumps, because technically some characters can have two, like One Wing with Sephiroth, or of course the multi-jump characters. A character that normally has one jump suddenly having two jumps is a really big way to fake people out, especially when you have such a devastating move in terms of Steve's downer, which with bad DI can kill if he has rage at 40 or 50 or 60% from the ground. There is another way to see if you're out of double jumps, which is the smoke that appears behind the character, but it's honestly really difficult to see that on stages that aren't like FD, because you need a dark background to see the light gray smoke. So on stages like Battlefield or Smashville in the day, like you're not going to be able to see that or rely on it, so you're really just going to have to pay attention to whether or not Steve used his up B when he was getting hit from his TNT, or just a different move in general. And of course that's going to move me to my third and honestly most useful thing. Honestly, this kind of breaks into two parts. So first I'm going to talk about combo breaks. So as I kind of mentioned in my Pikachu combo break video, there are a lot of situations where you as a player don't want to mash air dodge out of combos because it's too tight of a combo. You'll still get hit when you air dodge, or it like just punishes your air dodge anyway, and then you can get hit and suddenly using your air dodge is just kind of staling it and it's not doing anything. So as Pikachu you can mash Thunder to maybe get some choice combos, or at least hit your opponent or make them shield and get out of the combo. Steve can do the exact same thing with his up B. I used Pichu down throw fair as an example because I saw Void do a video where it's 1 frame imperfect of a combo, like you have 1 frame to air dodge, so things like Luigi's down B, bats within and stuff can get out of it, but most characters cannot because the fastest air dodge generally is frame 2. So Steve cannot air dodge out of this combo, but if he up B's out of down throw fair, suddenly he has 2 jumps. If you, again, because it's frame 1 to 7, if there are combos that are imperfect, you can get out of combos with 2 double jumps. If you were going to get hit anyway, especially if it's something like a Fox up tilt, if it's something like just random things that you're kind of accepting that you're going to get hit by because your air dodge isn't good enough, you can start your up B if you react to someone actually, using the move. Be careful not to just randomly up B near the edge of the stage and then just zoom off if they actually miss. That would be really unfortunate, but really funny as a not Steve player. But you can get multiple double jumps out of just disadvantage, which again is crazy because it's so hard to see that. Of course, you can technically see the fact that Steve's up B starts, but it's something really awkward to keep in mind. So you're going to have to really pay attention to when Steve is getting hit, if his up B spawns, to know if he's going to have 2 double jumps or not, because again, getting a second double jump into a back air, especially if he has a better tool like a diamond back air, or again, as I mentioned, a down air, or just like being able to fake your opponent out, get to another platform that you weren't normally able to, is a huge deal, especially when getting out of a combo, because people in advantage state are like, okay, well, I hit them, they use their double jump, and then suddenly like they have 2 jumps or they have an extra jump because of the up B tech, which is ridiculous. And this kind of goes into the last thing I want to talk about, which is intentionally getting hit to refresh your double jumps, because it is not only the fact that you can gain an extra jump when you haven't used your double jump in the first place, but if you do not have a jump and you get hit out of the beginning of the up B, he gains 2 jumps. So if you don't have a jump and you're off stage and for some reason you don't want to use a block to recover because let's say your opponent's been punishing it a lot, I show example here with a Pikachu Thunder Jolt. If someone's shooting projectiles at you, you can actually use your double jump, get hit by the move, especially if it's not going to kill you, like I mentioned, this Thunder Jolt, with your beginning of the up B, and then have 2 double jumps. So you gain 2 double jumps from not having them in the first place, which is ridiculous. So again, if you're getting comboed and you already used your jump and you don't feel comfortable, or you don't have iron to use down air or card and you don't feel comfortable using your blocks, you can use your up B as you're about to get hit and then gain 2 double jumps. So now your disadvantage is going to be so much better, because Steve's disadvantage is one of the most exploitable things about him, or at least something that you have to exploit as the opponent. One of the reasons I think Steve is good is that is one of his biggest weaknesses, and it's not really a big weakness at all. So suddenly his disadvantage just got better. Again, you do have to be careful, as I mentioned, because you don't want to up B and zoom off stage, which would be really unfortunate. But I think this is so useful. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it's going to get patched out. Honestly, I kind of assume it is going to be patched out, because this is ridiculous and clearly not intentional in my opinion. So I've seen a lot of people say that this is Steve playing in creative mode, and I agree, because gaining jumps is so unlike anything in the rest of the cast. I mean, hell, even Bayonetta's up B, or like her triple jump glitch, is honestly just a way to circumvent tap jump in terms of up B, which kind of makes sense because she has to use up B in a lot of her combos. So they want to like, okay, if you use your double jump at the beginning, you're fine. But this Steve thing makes absolutely no sense, because there's no way you're trying to use up B in a combo. There's no reason for it to spawn. It's not like you're using block. I really don't understand it. I don't get it at all. So if someone randomly understands this, please just tweet at me at I'm ESAM on Twitter. By the way, that changed, so the links down below are actually correct now. But it's ridiculous. I really don't understand how this tech came to be. Shoutouts to Yanni again for discovering it accidentally by getting hit by like a Falco laser or something. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And he, like, gaining 2 jumps is so cool. Again, you can see me like just doing this combo over and over again because I don't have a lot of B-roll footage, but this is ridiculous. I don't understand honestly the true implications of what's going to happen, because again, your disadvantage being better and your recovery and things like that being better is so crazy. An interesting caveat is the fact that if you have your jump, or rather, if you activate this and then don't actually use your jumps before you land, like if you grab the ledge, you don't keep the jumps. Steve gets his jumps back after not having them. It's not like he preserves them. He gains more jumps, which is ridiculous. I think Steve, again, I already thought Steve was an insane character, but if this is intentional and stays in the game, like it doesn't get patched out, this is ridiculous. This is insane. I think it's going to change a lot of matchups. I think it's going to change doubles for him incredibly, like, high. It's really, really crazy, and the fact that you have to to be that careful against Steve, against a character where you don't want to necessarily need to be careful in situations like Advantage. Just, it changes a lot in my opinion, even if it is kind of a niche tech. I don't know. I think this is honestly like a more applicable tech than a lot of other things like Slam Ram, which I'm going to get into in a couple days, or not a couple days, I have to record that, which is a min frame perfect tech. This is not exactly frame perfect, and man, it is applicable. So again, if you get any combos with it or you get any tech with it, please show me on Twitter. I would appreciate it. Just tweet at me. That would be awesome. As always, social media, Panda and Partner stuff is down below. Let me know if there are any other techs you want me to cover, because this was, again, literally brand new. It came out yesterday, which is why it took me like a day to make this video. So yeah, I will see you all next time.